Hey everybody, hope you're doing great today. This is Paul from This Weighted Aquarium. In today's video, I want to talk about this one particular plant I just started using in my aquarium over here. It is a great plant at sucking up nitrates. It's actually a plant that stays out of the water, but the roots stay in the water. It ends up soaking up a lot of nitrates. So even though I've had this plant for a little while sitting in a pot over by the window, which I'll show shortly, only recently that I decided to put it in my aquarium over here. And the success I've had with the reduced nitrates has been great. There are some downsides to it too, which I discuss in this video, but that plant is the Pothos plant. Some of you may know that plant. I've also heard it referred to as money plant. There's other names for it as well too. Pothos is the name that it's usually known by in the aquarium hobby. So I've just started putting it in here. You can see a little bit on the top back of my tank over there. I'll show you in a little bit of a close-up, but it's been doing great overall for my tank, helping with the nitrate level, and which also helps me with water changes. I don't have to do water changes as frequently in order to get those nitrates down, since nitrates are already coming down with this plant. So the Pothos plant is pretty cheap. It's pretty easy to get. You can purchase it at any store. You don't even need to purchase it at any store. If you know somebody who has a plant, ask them, hey, can I take a clipping of your plant? Usually they're more than willing to, because they go crazy as long as they're treated well. And all you need is a small clipping, a couple of leaves, drop it in the water, and then it will take off from there. Later on, if you do decide, you can take that plant, put it into soil. So if you want Pothos in soil as well too, you can get that as well. But in my case, my main purpose is for this aquarium. And I do have other aquariums I'm setting up in the basement right now. And I will use Pothos in those tanks as well too, in order to help reduce the nitrates. So it's a great overall plant. Depending on the type of fish you have in there, it does well in most tanks. Now, obviously, if you've got fish who like to munch on the roots, who like to munch on plants, then you might have some issues with keeping it. But there are ways to keep that, to still keep it. Basically, you can secure the roots in some place, either in a box of some sort of fishing net. Basically, that keeps the fish away from it and allows the roots to kind of continue to grow in there, absorb the nitrates. So let's take a look at the plant. So here you can see the Pothos plant on the back. When I originally cut it off, there were just one large leaf and one small leaf. Now you can see there's a total of 4. Now it's kind of stalled out after this. I haven't seen any more pop out, and that's because I think it's just basically taking up all the nitrates there, so it doesn't have much to grow further. As you can see here, sorry for the glare, the roots have extended down here quite a bit ways into the tank. Probably trying to look for some soil to grab some more nutrients. So this is a 55-gallon tank. So one of the downsides that I noticed about this is it's great for taking out nitrates, but if you take a look at this other Anubias plant I have here, you could see the leaf is decaying. And prior to me putting in the Pothos plant, these leaves are growing fine. Not growing very fast, but they were growing fine. But usually your Anubias don't grow fast, but as you can see, the leaves are starting to decay. And my thoughts on that are it's decaying because there's a lack of nitrates in the tank. These plants do need enough nitrates, so the Pothos is out competing this one, soaking up a lot of nitrates. So I could remedy that by adding in some fertilizer, some plant fertilizer, but I don't plan on doing it in this tank just yet, as I plan on switching out these fish, moving them to my basement fish room that I'm working on. And then I'm going to introduce some different fish in here that are the plant eating types. So I will be removing all the plants over here with the exception of the Pothos plant. I'll try and leave that in there and see if they avoid the roots or they munch on the roots. If they decide to munch on the roots, I'll figure out something to secure the roots in there so they don't get free rein to the roots. And that way the Pothos can suck up the nitrates and the fish can be happy in their environment. So here's the Pothos plant that I took a clipping from. This one, like I mentioned, was a gift for my daughters. For the regular plants, for non-aquatic plants, we're not big into plants inside our house, and someone gave this to us. We're keeping it here. It's great. I was able to clip a piece of it and use it in the aquarium. You can see here, that's where I cut it from, right there. And so, for example, when I cut it at this point right here, just with a pair of scissors. And then I just dropped it in the tank. You can see these little nubs underneath, if the camera's able to focus on it. So these little nubs, that ultimately becomes part of the root structure in the aquarium. Basically, the nubs will start growing and then they'll start soaking up water and nutrients in your tank. So that's what I used, and especially when I complete my first stage of my fish room in the basement. It's almost done. I'm gonna have a total of 5 tanks. I'll clip some further pothos in those just to kind of help keep the nitrates down and keep the tanks overall more healthy due to the lower nitrate levels. So as you can see here, the water hasn't been changed in this aquarium in a couple of weeks. I think it's been about 2 to 3 weeks. You can see some algae buildup over there that I need to get cleaned up. So just to show you how the nitrate levels go, I'm going to do a test right here. I've got my handy test strips over here. I'm gonna run a quick test just to see how the results come. So here are the test results. You can see the nitrates aren't very high. I mean, there's still some nitrates over there. That's to be expected since I haven't changed water in a couple of weeks here. But considering in the past where I would do it and I would get much higher readings using the pothos plant here, you can see how much it's helped this tank. I can go a little longer in those water changes and not have as much nitrate. That's all I have for this video. Thank you for watching. If you found it helpful, informative, please hit that like button so others can find the video as well. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.